I got made fun of and picked on for having like a mohawk, or, you know, I had a sweet mullet too, I think, like in 8th grade. That's how the mohawk came about. It's like, got rid of the mullet. I've changed my look a lot over the years, but it seemed like in school I'd always get picked on for it, you know, if I had blue hair or red hair or anything like that. And I remember being in 8th grade and I was going into high school thinking, well, I want to do something, and I don't know how you find out if you're athletic. I played Little League, and damn it, I was an all-star. So like, I must be good at sports. So okay, I'll try out for football and wrestling. And I remember when my parents would go to bed, like when I was in 8th grade, like I would sneak back downstairs and I would just do push-ups and sit-ups like all night. Like, cause I was like, I'm gonna try out for the football team and I'm gonna make it, you know? And I tried out for the football team and the wrestling team, and they wouldn't let me on. Either because I had one or the other. One was because I had long hair, so I was like, all right, I'll get rid of my hair. And then I had a mohawk, and then, well, we can't have you on the team because you have a mohawk. And like, I'm not the kind of guy to be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna conform and cut my hair. No, I was just like, okay, well then, you know what, the hell with you, who needs you? You know? And obviously, you know, probably like the next day was, hey, I have this wrestling federation that we're gonna start, and we're gonna roll around in our backyard. You wanna do it? Yeah, I've been doing push-ups and sit-ups for months. Let's do this. The name CM Punk.
Do you guys know what it stands for? I don't know what I'm allowed to say. Okay.
I was at my first job, All American Comics, and I had to come up with a name for the LWF. It was after a Mania, so it was like, okay, the first show is gonna be after WrestleMania. So like we're all preparing, and I like was trying to develop like what I was gonna do, and one of my buddies wanted to be Chick Magnet Venom, right? And the idea was that me and him were going to be a tag team, because me and him were really good friends. And like the Chick Magnet thing, I was never really sold on, but I was like, we can shorten it to CM. And I was thinking of myself as like more of a punk rock 1, 2, 3 kid, you know? Like that's the way I explained it to them. And I was going to be CM Punk, Chick Magnet Punk and Chick Magnet Venom.
Back in the day, it was just kind of to tell people what the CN stand for, to say that it stands for Chick Magnet. They would be like, all right, that's kind of weird, a little conceited.
Before I met him is when he was part of the Chick Magnets. And so I think if I would have met him when he was doing that, we probably wouldn't have like hit it off the way we did.
That's funny because no one actually knows what CM actually stands for. You know, people, Chick Magnet or Cookie Monster. He'll always tell you something different every single time you ask him.
What's the CM stand for? Is that
Charles Montgomery, C. Montgomery Burns.
Now it's Chicago made, but I mean, I think it's a great name. It's like a trademark now.
If you've ever seen me moonsault, crooked moonsault, it's the most crooked, lopsided thing you've ever seen. Chicago made. It's taken on a life of its own. It means a ton of different things. That's the genesis of the whole story, and I feel bad telling this because now everyone's gonna know. And well, maybe people will stop asking me then. That'll be a good thing.
What's the worst errant injury you've ever had?
I fractured my skull once.
Really?
Yeah.
On a kick that was not supposed to?
No, it was like a freak accident. It was like a neck breaker, and my head was like on top of the guy's head, and we hit the mat at the same time, and it's like a big old, like, you know, 2 coconuts.
Yeah, it was in New Jersey, Elizabeth, New Jersey, at the sports complex. And we were in this tournament, and he was wrestling Reckless Youth.
It.
Doesn't look like anything.
I know. Yeah, but here's the. I know I'm doomed right here. I think my neck's broken, and that was the. that was the shake off. It wasn't like painful. Like I just like this side of my body got like really warm. It was really weird. What am I gonna do now? More stupidity. Oh, yeah, that's not a good idea. Yeah. a chair as a walker to get out of the ring. Like everyone thought it was, wow, he's doing a real good job. Like I can't walk at this point. And then I collapsed and barfed.
They called for the ambulance, and I was like, oh man, that's gonna be annoying. Like, I just assuming he wasn't hurt, and just like, listen, I'll take him, or we'll get somebody. It's like, oh, the ambulance, like, I don't think he had health insurance, so it's like, oh man, he's gonna have to pay for this, and that's some of the thoughts, like, honestly, that's going through my head. You know, you get bangs and bruises, and you just assume, like, even if you see a guy get hurt in a match, you're like, well, he got hurt, but he'll probably be fine tomorrow.
He immediately told me that, like, you've seen people with lesser fractures die, and my brain was supposedly swollen, and my spinal column filled with blood somehow. It was very strange.
And he's so strong about his beliefs of straight edges, he's refusing to take any kind of drugs. And it's like, you fractured your skull. Take some drugs.
They tried to give me like this industrial strength bottle of pills, and like, you know, I declined it for two reasons. Like, number one, I didn't want to pay for it, you know, and I wasn't going to take them anyway. So it was just like, no, you know, I don't want them. And they're like, no, you're going to need them. You're going to need them. You're going to need them. No.
He flew home, which you shouldn't do with a skull fracture. The change in pressure wouldn't have been good.
He stayed at our house. We got like a little dungeon room set up for him where, you know, we had the blackout curtain, so it was never light in there. He stayed in there for like a month. He would wake up like every few hours or so, and he would have like a box of Triscuits and a fresh Gatorade there, and he'd like take a sip, eat a Triscuit, fall asleep for a few hours, and do it all over again.
My sister had like one of those TVs with like the VCR built into it, and so Half Baked was like the movie that was in there, and it was one of those machines where it was like once the video ended, it would automatically rewind and play again. So it was like Half Baked was just like playing on loop.
Every time he woke up, he was at a separate part in the movie. So he didn't realize that weeks had literally passed. He thought like 2 hours had passed.
He had a lot of signs that we should have probably taken him back to the hospital, but he wasn't going, so he just laid there and healed.
Probably the worst thing for him is he had to stop wrestling for a month and a half. I think it was supposed to be 6 months. He stopped for a month and a half, you know?
I was told 14 months to not do anything strenuous, which included lifting weights. Like nothing. I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? And they said, just sit on the couch. Because you can't put a cast on a head, I guess.
He came back really soon, probably a little bit too soon. We had like a 30-minute match, maybe 3 or 4 weeks after he came back. Both of us were busted open, bleeding everywhere. And I was part of a tournament where he wrestled 3 matches in one night. So that's Punk.
And there you have it. Don't try this at home.
Brent Albright was a godsend in OVW because he brought out the best in CM Punk.
Paul Heyman's the evil genius of pro wrestling, you know, and he saw me for exactly what I am, and he knew I would be able to bring out the best in Brent Albright and vice versa.
Punk is up on the top rope. What is Punk gonna do? Oh!
Albright was the perfect opponent in OVW for CM Punk because he could take the fight to Punk. He was a really rugged wrestler who was a tough guy, and it looked like these two were going to war.
It was a long, drawn-out story, something that even in WWE you really don't get anymore.
We feuded 6 to 8 months, and some of the best matches I had down there were with Brent, you know, because he got it.
Well, Albright's offering the handshake, and we know from the past CM Punk's not likely to take it. Punk telling Albright, I'm not going to shake your hand. I don't give you respect. You have to earn it.
When we came up with the whole idea of Brent Albright seeking CM Punk's respect and getting that handshake, the whole idea behind that was for them to have 20, 30, even 40-minute matches on television, totally change the complexion of the OVW television show.
CM Punk has he slaps Albright.
You
got punked.
You really are the best submission wrestler in OVW.
And you lie awake at night wishing you could beat me at my own game. You could be the best wrestler in the world and it is not gonna save you. I own you, Brent. I got your number. Get out or tap out. Or just let's go. Come on!
CM Punk and Brent Albright built to this strap match.
Be the best. Avoid the strap. This is fighting. This is like the old days.
This strap match for the heavyweight title is a no disqualification. Anything goes. This is the most personal war in the history of OVW. All he has to do is touch that last button. Yes! Yes!
A little bit of that chemistry that I've had with Chris Hero or Colt Cabana, I definitely had with Brent Albright.
You will always get punked.
He was one of the gangsters on Cena's Gangster Mobile at WrestleMania when we did the entrances where he was a gangster and I was the bootleg Conan. And I didn't realize it at the time, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on WrestleMania, all that, and I didn't realize who he was at the time. I don't think it was until much later that somebody even pointed out to me that one of those guys was CM Punk.
Honestly, didn't even know during the entrance. I didn't. You know, I think we had some developmental talent up there or something like that, and he was one of the guys. But what like that, there is no more full circle than that. What a fantastic story, and the fact that I didn't even know that was him on the car, and then in the same building, on the biggest night of the calendar year for the WWE Sans WrestleMania, he's beating me for the WWE Championship and walking out of the building with him. Great night for CM Punk and a great story for WWE fans. That's real, man. He went from being an extra to being the man. Like, that is real. Sink your teeth into, I fought for this, and you're gonna have to pry it from my cold dead fingers. Like, it's great.
This story really starts at Survivor Series. Survivor Series 2006 was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Philly crowd was going to anoint CM Punk as the next big star. So as one of the partners for D-Generation X in a Survivor Series match, Triple H comes out with Philadelphia, are you ready? And, you know, it's the DX routine. And here's Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and the crowd is chanting.
Punk was a guy that certainly capitalized on that. It kind of got him noticed. You know, when you get that opportunity to stand with guys that are at that moment above you in the business, and the crowd looks at you and goes like, no, he like fits right in there. And I think that was one of those moments for Punk, maybe from an acceptance thing as a performer, where like, no, like he was in there with DX and they were chanting for him.
And Triple H does the unheard of. He gives someone else the line. And he puts the mic in front of CM Punk's mouth.
That's right, CM Punk, who needs to have a question answered. Philadelphia, are you ready?
Place explodes. And a new star is born. And you could feel the shift happen right there. So the very next week is the December to Dismember pay-per-view. And based on the momentum that CM Punk had, I figured, here we go. It's time to announce that CM Punk is the new face of ECW.
We had a big main event. It was Elimination Chamber with weapons. And Paul's original plan was
for the big show, the defending, reigning ECW World Heavyweight Champion, to start the Elimination Chamber against CM Punk.
And with maybe like a minute left before another pod opens up, I slapped the Anaconda Vice on the Giant.
the reigning, defending, 7-foot-tall, 500-pound ECW World Heavyweight Champion taps out. And now you know that by the end of this match, a new ECW World Heavyweight Champion will be crowned. And the concept was that champion would be CM Punk.
So right off the bat, my hold's made, I'm made, and we know that there's going to be a new champion, right? It winds up, I think, Bobby Lashley was the guy. He was the guy that they wanted, and you know, in my gut, I knew he wasn't the guy. I think a lot of people felt the same way. And Paul had a lot of faith in me.
And the controversy that was mostly brought up by Paul Heyman was that the outcome of that match was going to have the wrong winner, and it had to be CM Punk. And I vehemently disagreed. I knew it had to be Bobby Lashley, and I knew at that time, on that day, that it wasn't CM Punk's time.
Paul comes up to me and he goes, you know, if you really believe in it, you know, you got to go tell the boss.
I'm waiting for the reaction everybody else would give. Oh, gee, Vince, I don't know. And instead, Punk said, great, which office is he in? Oh, he's in that one right over there. And just walked straight in.
I walk right into Vince's office and I go, got a minute? And he goes, sure. And I explained to him how I felt, and then he explained to me how he felt. And then it was just kind of like, okay, I guess we agree to disagree. You sure I can't change your mind? I really think this is good, you know? And I can only imagine in his head what he was thinking. So we shook hands and I walked out of the room and I went, yeah, all right, I'm screwed. Just screwed myself, but I can't help it. I have to, you know, I have to be that voice.
When I met CM Punk, I was a little intimidated because he's not very friendly when you first get to know him, especially if he doesn't know you.
Everybody's got their first meeting with Punk, and I went up to him, and I knew he was into like rock music or punkish, whatever, right? So I had just seen a Deftones concert like the week before, and I was just like, oh hey, whatever, da something, and then I mentioned, I was like, oh yeah, I saw the Deftones last week, and he's like, yeah. The Deftones suck. I was like, all right.
Myself and Kurt Hawkins, we were the Major Brothers, and we were just getting on the road in WWE. And CM Punk, he lived in the same area as us, Louisville, Kentucky, and we all kind of rode together on the road. And it was a weird friendship. I'm like, there's no way he likes my type of music. I'm driving, and I'm like, I don't know if I can put this up.
We were in the front yard, and there was this kind of tall, cute boy with spiky orange hair, and I think it was maybe a Superman shirt he was wearing, and he spotted me giving people Pez and came over and was like, what is that? Where did you get that? What kind of Pez dispenser is that? I'm like, it's from Germany, and telling him all about it, and we kind of became friends over Pez.
And the first time I saw him, I thought, scruffy swine, Best place to hide anything from him's underneath the soap, But we just got on really well.
Kind of looked like the dirty kid, but yeah, that was the very first impression. It's the dirty kid who works for the other guys over across town that aren't the quote-unquote pro wrestlers.
I first met CM Punk when I small packaged him on his head, which he distinctly reminds me about. I think it was 99, I guess. I was training at the Steel Domain in Chicago and proceeded to small package him on his head. I'm much better at it now.
The earliest conversation I can remember with CM Punk was actually the day of my debut. I had my headphones on and everything, and I see some feet kind of standing in front of me, so then I look up, and sure enough, it's Punk standing up, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's up, man? It's like, hey, you want a piece of advice? I'm just like, yeah, sure. He's like, remember, they paid to see you. And I was like, I didn't quite know what it meant, but put me at ease.
When I was in high school, I started to dig into independent wrestling. I discovered him and Colt Cabana, and I just became an instant fan. And then finally, there was a weekend, it was Ring of Honor on Saturday, and then the independent that I grew up watching in Long Island had him booked on Sunday. So it was 2 shows, and I was going to both of them. So I was hoping that maybe I could get to meet him finally, see what he was like. This is the summer of '03. I've just graduated high school. I've just signed up to wrestling school, and I couldn't be more excited. My whole life, I'm meeting my favorite wrestler. I just signed up to be a wrestler. My lifelong dream is all coming true. So I'm all, antsy to go over and just talk to him and see what he's like. And So I see him, and I said, oh, man, I was there last night. It was incredible at Raven. He was like, oh, yeah, thanks, whatever. Not too thrilled. I was like, oh, well, you know, I just signed up to be a wrestler, wrestling school, like, this month. Like, you know, I'm starting out. And he kind of looks me over, and he goes, I guess you're big enough. And I was like, that really wasn't the answer I was hoping this guy would give me, but okay, I'll take it. And then I asked him for a photo, and I have the photo as proof, which, you know, years later I told him this story, and he was like, nah, it didn't happen. I was like, I'm telling you it happened. I have a photo to prove it. And then the real funny thing is, looking back on it, you know, I was kind of a little crushed, but he was still my favorite wrestler. It wasn't this awful first meeting, but it wasn't great. But I'm like, we're pretty much the same size.
After we were done playing, he's walking up the ramp, and I see him, and he's like, Lars Frederiksen. I was like, CM Punk. And it was like right then and there, it was just like, bam, you know, just, it's like, I'm pretty sure you meet somebody, you've had that experience where you meet somebody and it's like that, it clicks. And that's kind of the way we were. 2 peas in a pod. His love of music and passion for wrestling, and my love for music and passion for wrestling, it's like we were a match made in hell, you know what I mean?
CM Punk's style is unique, just like the human being. There's an intellect behind it.
He's the guy that sucks you in and makes you just watch and get into the match and the story of the match. He's an artist.
He is very smart in the ring. He knows when and where to put things.
At the time, I was like, nobody throws kicks, nobody does a springboard, and at the time, they were almost like, seemed like they were ashamed of submissions, you know? So I said, I'm gonna throw a ton of kicks to stand out. I'll do a springboard clothesline just so I can kind of wow them here and there. And I used the Anaconda Vice as a submission hold.
There's an Anaconda Vice! Nowhere to go! This CM Punk's the real deal, man.
I've been all over the world, you know, and I think it shows in my style. I use a little bit of everywhere I've ever been and everyone I've ever encountered, and I throw it all in one big, mean, aggressive, angry, pissed off package. There's a wrestler in Japan. His name is Kenta. He does this move called the go to sleep. Picks a guy up, throws him over his shoulders, and knees him in the face on the way down. I'm gonna use the go to sleep. It's exciting, it's brutal, nobody had ever seen anything like that before, and just out of respect, I kept the name the same, because I think it would have been disrespectful to call it something else.
Bam! GTS!
Check my watch, because that's what you do when you need to check the time. And it just always so happens that right before I walk to the ring, it's clobbering time.
It's clobbering time. That is the rallying cry for CM Punk as he heads to the ring.
The Thing says that from the Fantastic Four, Ben Grimm. It's also New York hardcore band Sick of It All has a song called It's Clobbering Time. So 2 things I love, New York hardcore and comic books. And I made it into 3 things I love. It's kind of like my battle cry, so now it has everything to do with pro wrestling. So that's 3 things that you throw into a blender, you pour it out. It's kind of like CM Punk protein shake. You know, New York hardcore, comic books, and wrestling. Okay, so everybody asks me, or at least pokes fun at my Cubs hat, which to me is just a little piece of home that I can always take with me and wear. And plus, I've always worn a hat. It's not the same hat, regardless of what people will think or tell you. The first hat, I think I tried to wash because it just got disgusting and it disintegrated in the wash machine. I don't know how to wash hats. So now what I've taken to doing, if I lose one, I buy a new one, or if it just gets too beat up and dirty. Like this one's about to get retired, but the last one and the only one that I hadn't lost or completely destroyed, I think this is number 4, and it sits here on top of a skull. And this one is about to meet its maker too. I mean, you can still see it's still a little less dirty than that one, but it'll eventually meet its resting place. I got to get a new hat.
Let me put it to you like this, going back to things that really pissed me off. When they moved me from SmackDown to Raw with the trade with Edge, and I told them, do not move me unless you have something for me. Well, they moved me, and they didn't really have anything for me. They told me that maybe they thought about me wrestling Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania for the United States title. And I said, no disrespect to Daniel Bryan. He's a friend of mine. I love him. If anybody's better than me in the ring, it's him. That's not where I planned on being at WrestleMania. And then I told them no. They threw out the Orton idea, and I was immediately pissed off that I was like a placeholder. I was like Orton's mechanic all of a sudden, and I'm nobody's mechanic. And leading up to that, because they didn't want John Cena and Miz to get physical, I was told to my face by somebody who will remain nameless because I almost punched him. I was John Cena's TV program. And man, once again, there's probably a baker's dozen of times I said, well, that's it. I'm not coming to work tomorrow. But that was when I blew a gasket. I'm nobody's TV program. That's the most insulting thing you could possibly say to me. So now take that and fast forward 1 year, and I'm the champ going into WrestleMania, fighting Chris Jericho. Night and day. So yeah, me re-signing, do I regret it? Absolutely not. I think I've done a lot of good, and I think I'm going to do a lot better in the coming years.
So he called me up on that Thursday. It was a Friday. He said, yeah, the office has been trying to get a hold of me. I've been ducking and diving, and and he goes, I don't know what I want to do. And I said, well, what are you going to do? I go, I'm in a different position, Philip. I go, I got 2 kids and a wife. I'm not a millionaire. So that's my responsibility. I said, I have to do what's going to make me happy in the long run, because my kids are going to see that. And I want my kids to look at their old man and be proud of him for doing what he wanted to do. So I said, I don't know if you want my opinion. I gave him that spiel beforehand because I said, do you want my opinion? He goes, why the do you think I'm calling you? And I was like, okay. Because I know you talked to a couple other people, and I said, well, what do they say? And he said, same kind of thing, like whatever makes you happy. They're not really giving me anything. I said, okay, well, what do you want? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I said, well, that's what you need to figure out. He goes, well, I don't know, I want to stay. And I said, well, why not? I said, well, I don't know if I'm happy doing this, He said, they want to offer me everything I've ever wanted, but I don't know if that's more the reason. I said, okay, bro, I'm going to tell you a little story, and this is a true story. And this is the part where I know he's talked about this, so I'm okay with talking about this. But I said, in 1996 or whatever it was, when the Ramones were being inducted to the Hall of Fame, I'd heard about it, and I called up Johnny Ramone. I said, congratulations. And he said, well, I don't think I'm going to go. I said, what do you mean you're not going to go? And I actually got really kind of upset. He's like, well, I think the whole thing's stupid and blah, 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 and that. God rest his soul. And I said, you have to go. And I kind of got angry, right? And he's like, well, why would I have to go? I don't have to do anything I don't want. He got kind of a little at me, and I said, because you're not doing this just for the Ramones. You're doing this for punk rock. You're doing this because, you were the weird band that everybody said that sucked, that couldn't play their instrument, who inspired guys like me to pick up one, and everybody else, including the Sex Pistols, including the Clash, including pretty much every punk band in the world, you're the reason why this genre of music exists. If you don't show up, it's like spitting in people's faces. I said, finally one of us got in and got recognized for something that we love, our culture, not that we needed to be recognized on that scale, but just to be thought of as not the weird, for that moment. It's like, that's what you're doing it for, It's like punk rock was the real rock and roll. You invented this. You have to show up. He's like, okay, you're right. And he went. And I was like, I just told Johnny Ramone a piece of my mind, you know? Like, you know, that's how I'm looking at it. And I kind of told Punk that story. And hopefully, from what I understand, it kind of inspired him to kind of maybe get back on the horse a little bit.
My heartbeat must have been 180 beats per minute for like a good half hour. So sprinting up those stairs and, you know, turning around and holding up the title that one last time before I ran out the door. And you think about it, I jumped in a car and I zoomed home. I was probably home in 8 minutes. And the car service had those little tiny waters, which, you know, like they evaporated before they even hit my mouth. And I chugged both of them. And I was like, you got any more water? And the guy was like, no. So the instant I got home, I ran up the stairs and the first thing I did was open my refrigerator and I was still holding the title. And it felt like it was 1,000 pounds. And I opened the refrigerator and I grabbed water and I just threw the title in there and I just sat on my kitchen floor, still sweating. Like, you know, I'm not wearing a hoodie. I think the only thing I had with me was my phone. So I'm still pouring sweat. I'm still calming down from the match. And I literally just sat on my kitchen floor and I just chugged a bunch of water and I rehydrated. And then I opened the fridge up again and the title was just sitting where it was. And I was like, my life is so bizarre. I grabbed my phone and I snapped a shot of it.
I was telling you earlier about me and Natalie. When we dated, we used to wear each other's clothes. So as a rib tonight, that shirt I was wearing was hers. How she fit in that thing, I'll never know. How I fit in the thing, I'll never know. But here's this is an old picture of her that she just texted me, of her wearing the same shirt. I told you. You get that? And it came with the caption, "Is that my shirt or did you finally get your own?" I love it. I love it.
Teenage anarchist.
He's a very caring person. You know, he goes out of his way to do a lot of things for people, and it's literally for people. It's not for him. You know what I mean? To make himself feel good or look good in the eyes of others. A lot of times he'll do things that no one else will know about. You know, I remember there was one time that I was like Valentine's Day or something like that. Like he bought all the divas like these goodie bags and stuff like that. So, you know, they came into the locker room, they all had these goodie bags and everyone's giddy and whatnot, you know? And you look at CM Punk and he's this stoic, tough guy with all these tattoos and whatnot, but he's still thinking about the divas on Valentine's Day, which, I mean, I know I wasn't doing, you know what I mean? And a lot of people weren't doing, but he definitely has I guess that sensitive side to him. And a lot of people don't realize that, and he doesn't want a lot of people to realize that. He's not doing it for anybody else but the person who's benefiting. So, yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, obviously a very excellent movie shot in my hometown of Chicago. And the funny thing about the movie is one of the best scenes that the movie's remembered for is when he kind of hijacks the parade float and he sings Twist and Shout. And the baton used in that scene in that marching band is from my high school. We actually have the baton in a glass case. I'd say framed, but it's not. It's behind a glass case, and I'm pretty sure it's alarmed. And it's probably the most valuable thing within my high school. That's your special Easter egg, and this is my special pink bathrobe that I borrowed from a diva. I look good. I know it. Okay, it's over now for real. Go. It was really weird. I just remember using whatever bizarre newfound popularity I had to hand kids my flyers for this wacky backyard wrestling I was doing. It was just like, oh, you want to be my friend? Well, here, come to this. You know, do whatever, party. You know, get naked, drink. I don't care. Just, you know, you're gonna pay us $2, and you know. And I thought I was rich. I thought I was just like, we're rolling in the money. And I was older than everybody because I like skipped a grade. So I wound up graduating when I was 17. So I was out of there. And to me, I had my mind made up. I was going to be a pro wrestler. I wasn't going to college. I couldn't go to college anyway because my parents couldn't afford it. So like I didn't have a whole lot of options, and that did not bum me out at all because to me there was one option. It was to be a pro wrestler, and that was it. There was no plan B. I played saxophone in the school band and then got unceremoniously thrown out. Mr. Cork gave me the boot in like 8th because I would constantly I would goof off. I guess in the band nerd scene, I was the radical one, you know? So like, it was outside of the band room, I'm thrown in the lockers and spit on because I'm just a nerd, but like in the band room, like I'm the cool guy because I'm trying to play like Jimmy Jazz from The Clash, and I'm trying to figure out how to play like all these songs that like I like instead of playing Saints Go Marching In for the umpteenth time. So I would always just like act out, and it got me the boot. That's actually how I met like a lot of friends because I was into all this crazy music that nobody had ever heard of. I was into ska, and I mean that was predominantly because of my aunt. My aunt is like 2 generations younger than my mom, you know? There's a huge age difference, so I'm closer in my age to my aunt than I was my mom. And she, obviously my aunt, Chrissy, still lived at home, so I'd be at my grandpa's a lot, and she would be there. And she was always going out to like Chicago punk clubs and like Medusa Circle and Exit, and like, you know, she'd just bring home music, and I would literally devour everything. And it was everything, because back then, like, you know, it wasn't R&B chart, rock chart, you know, rap chart. It was, the music was everything, you know, so like whatever she listened to I thought was cool and I got into. So like Clash, Ramones, Duran Duran, I mean, you name it, like I got into it. And I played the saxophone, which I always felt like this weird shame, like, oh, I play the saxophone in the school band, I'm such a nerd. But then, you know, I discovered like all this ska music. This stuff's awesome. I'm 15 years old, like hitching rides to go to the Metro and the Vic to see, the specials and, Rancid. I meet a bunch of dudes in a band called Hot Stove Jimmy, and it instantly becomes my favorite band because not only are they awesome, like I know these guys, we're friends, we're all the same age. We all, they went to a different high school. That's how I met Candace. Candace is best friends with Ches. That's how I meet Ches. And I actually played with them for like a Heartbeat because it was like their alto sax player moved to Denver and they were like, you have a trombone? And I was like, saxophone. Yes, you have a saxophone. Why don't you just come, So then I was going out to Indiana to practice with them, and I'd play with them, and then the wrestling thing kind of got in the way of all that. So I had to decide either be a rock star or be a pro wrestler, and I chose pro wrestler.
One story that I tell people, because I think it's a good little moment of CM Punkness, every Easter my mom would make us all baskets, and it didn't matter how old we got, we all get Easter baskets. Like, she finally just stopped now that we all have our own kids, but we were like in our 20s and we were getting Easter baskets. So Phil came home with me one year for Easter, and my mom had made him this little basket with jelly beans and stuff, and my parents liked him, but they were kind of like, when is he gonna get a job, So my mom was like, Happy Easter, Phil, and gave him an Easter basket, and he goes, F Easter. And like, for anyone else, if they said F Easter to my mom or anyone's mom, that would pretty much be it. But he's so charming that F Easter, now that was like 10 years ago, more than that, like 15 maybe years ago. And F Easter is like the official Easter greeting at my house now. We all say it to each other every year, F Easter on the phone. Like, that's like just been adopted as our Easter greeting now. So he never got in trouble for that. That was just, we were just like, oh, Phil.
When Punk and I first started, he wasn't much of a health nut or anything, but it's like, oh, I'm a wrestler, I gotta get into wrestling, I have to be fit. And I remember, this is when we first kind of became friends. This is the first time I think we ever went out like socially. And after practice, he's like, do you wanna go meet with my friends and we'll go out to eat? And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, and I was a suburb kid, and he's like, we're gonna go to the city. I was like, ooh, the big city of Chicago. We went to BW3's, and he's taking down chicken wings like it's going out of style. He's taking down these chicken wings. He's like, oh man, I love it. And I was just like, he's like, yeah, like, we're wrestlers now. We got to eat chicken. And I'm like, and even I know at this point, because I've been playing football, and I'm like, chicken wings aren't necessarily good for you. He's like, no, they're chicken. It's protein. It's good. And he like, the idea that chicken wings weren't good for you, in his mind, someone had said, hey, chicken's protein. It's good for you. So he's just housing down chicken wings, and it's doing nothing for him. And I think, to the same extent, I remember he once got an apple pie from McDonald's, and he was like, oh, it's apples, it's all right,
I think out of most of my tattoos, the Pepsi tattoo gets a lot of press, a lot of questions, a lot of stares. Everyone says, that looks like a Pepsi tattoo. Yeah, it's exactly what it is, I guess that's the idea. It represents me being straight edge. I could tell the whole story, but I've told it 1,000 times. Brian Baker from the straight edge band Minor Threat has a Coca-Cola tattoo. The Pepsi tattoo represents me and my entire life being drug-free.
So when we first were living in this Humble Park apartment, I got, from all the like hardcore shows I was going to, I decided that I was gonna save all the animals by going vegan. And Phil was eating like 50 grams of protein like every 2 hours. So he was eating like Canadian bacon and like all this stuff all the time. But he was very like supportive of whatever weird thing I wanted to do. So I went to Whole Foods and I bought like this really expensive like vegan salmon steak. And all our roommates were like, that's disgusting. That's going to be disgusting. You're wasting your time. And I'm like, no, it's going to be awesome. And I made it, and it was really bad. And I started crying because it was so expensive, and like they were all right, And I was sitting there crying, and he's like, I'll eat it, you know, don't cry, I'll eat it, I'm sure it's fine. Like, he sat there and just ate this thing with, like, just wouldn't let me see how gross it was, just to make me happy. And I mean, that's like a good, like, encapsulation kind of how he is with the girls in his life. Like, anything to just make them stop crying and to make them happy. He'll eat that gross vegan fish, like, just please stop crying. So we got like fish bones, and that's our fish story.
The standard thing to do when we got to Minnesota, when we pulled off on the exit, was to go out and mess with anybody in the car in front of you. So, you know, you had the googly eye glasses, or whatever you call them, like the Coke bottle glasses. A lot of times we'd put those on and go out and just dance in front of people, and most of the time they were horrified. They'd either roll their window up or laugh at us, but most of the time they were horrified. We'd get out, and we had a gigantic bone that we used to bring on the road and stroke the bone. You drive up to somebody and you had this gigantic, like, dog bone, and we just liked horrifying people. Or pulling up and singing Unchained Melody, the Righteous Brothers. We used to sing to people in shopping malls. Just a car full of us just would open up. You know, we had the sliding door van, and we'd just open up and sing to people, and just anything to keep our sanity. It was fun.
There's a lot of different footage of him talking to different fans, and there's one, a famous one, where he's talking on an invisible microphone because the microphone was broken.
Phantom microphone work.
Let me explain something to you people!
And he's talking, and he's yelling, and some stupid girl in the crowd starts going back and forth. So he's going back and forth, and he's doing this.
She starts talking to the microphone, and he's like, "Idiot! You're talking into an invisible microphone. What's wrong with you?" You know, just little things like that.
We wanted to wrestle in the ECW arena. And this is an important story because out of this, Joey Mercury, who was in Punk's Straight Edge Society, became friends of ours, and then eventually became a real close friend with Punk, and still is to this day. We wanted to do the ECW arena. York and Matthews at the time were going to be wrestling, I believe, a tag team called the Backseat Boys, and there wasn't a room for us on the card. At the last minute, the Backseat Boys couldn't do it, and the promoter said, can you guys fill in and wrestle York and Matthews? This was maybe 2 nights before the show. Now, Philadelphia is 14 hours from Chicago. And at first we said, that's crazy. There's no plane ticket, no nothing. They're like, no, sorry. And at first we said, no, thank you. And then we just started talking to each other. We're like, we have to wrestle these guys because they've been around. At that time, they were signed by WCW and fired, signed by WWE and fired. And then we're traveling the roads with ECW, all at the age of like 25 probably at that time. And it was like, well, that's what we want to be. You know, these are young, hungry guys like us. They've done everything. We need to learn from them. And not only that, ECW Arena, how could we turn that down? And how could we turn down, you know, maybe making a little buzz for ourselves on the East Coast where all this buzz was, where we wanted to be. So that show was on a Saturday. We had a Milwaukee show at 4 p.m. on a Sunday. So we said, hey, this is what we do. And we're just like, let's do it. We headed out Friday night, drove through the night to Saturday afternoon. Our plan was to get there Saturday afternoon and sleep, do the show Saturday night, and then go home. But we got there Saturday afternoon. No one had really slept in that car ride. And we were so excited to be at the ECW arena. We were so excited to wrestle with all these guys and meet all these friends. And we forgot to sleep. So we do our show. We're tired, but we wrestle our show. We wrestle with York and Matthews. That friendship comes. And now we have to hit that 4 p.m. show in Milwaukee. It's a mixed tag involving Sensational Sherry, who had become a friend of ours. Yeah. And it's like, we didn't want to let her down. And we had so much respect and love for Sherry, and she had become almost like one of us because we were doing so many shows with her all around. And it's like we had this, fondness for Sensational Sherry, and so we were like, well, we have to make this show. So at midnight we hit the road, and it's a 14-hour drive, and the show starts at 4. We have no time to sleep, so we're gonna try to trade back and forth. We kind of do, and like I think I drove the first leg, and Punk goes to sleep, and then Punk's like, all right, I'll take this leg, and then I go to sleep. But the next thing I know, I wake up and we're on the side of the road, and I go, why are we on the side of the road? He goes, and he looks at me, he goes, oh, I just hit a car. And I turn around and there's cops there, and he's hit a car, he's half asleep, and I go, oh, all right. And I go back to bed, because I know I have to sleep. Like, he's hit a car, and I'm like, are you all right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, he's fine. I got to get to sleep in, because eventually I got to do another leg. And so an hour later, he's like, all right, it's all taken care of. And then I'm like, do you want me to drive? He's like, no, I'm up. This has woke me up. And so we start to go off, and as I'm about to doze off, I look back at him, and now he's sleeping at the wheel. And I'm like, Punk, what are you doing? And he's like, what? And he's got it. And so then, like, he had fallen asleep. He had hit the car because he had fallen asleep at the wheel. And then, luckily, no damage was done. We got let off. And as I go, as he claims to be awake, he then is falling asleep at the wheel. We made it for the show somehow. And you know, it was crazy. Because at that time, I don't know how we did it. It was literally one of the hardest road trips I've ever done.
Let's see, IWA Mid-South, where we have a show. And at this time is when he met Eddie Guerrero. Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero were brought into IWA Mid-South to work these shows. I got to wrestle Mysterio, he got to wrestle Guerrero, Mysterio, all this good stuff. Anyway, snowstorm. It's on a Saturday night. We go down to Morris, Illinois. The promoter did not book Eddie Guerrero a hotel room, but he gave him money. And he's like, okay, here's your money for your hotel, and here's your pay, or whatever. And Guerrero's like, what the hell am I supposed to do now? Punk looks at him and goes, I'll drive it, you know, to O'Hare. He's like, really? Thank you very much. Like, hey, no problem. So he hops in the car with us. We drive up to O'Hare Airport. There's not a damn hotel room to be found. There's some convention in town that's got them all booked. So he's just, you know, Eddie's living. He's like, I guess I'll just go sleep in the, you know, the terminal for 6 hours. And we look at each other, and Punk looks at me, and I'm like, that's stupid. Punk's like, well, you want to come to our house? He goes, oh, no, I can't. Eddie's like, no, I can't impose. I'm like, we don't care. He's like, we live on the highway 20 minutes from O'Hare. You come, hang out with us, be safe, be warm, crash if you want, whatever. When it's time to go, we'll take you back. Okay. So he comes in, he looks, and he sees just our mound of wrestling. He's like, oh. You know, and the coolest thing about him is he's our idol. And he's looking at us like, hey, you know, thank you for everything you guys have done for me this weekend. And we're like, hell no, thanks for coming to work with us. You know, you know, kind of just, you know, blessed us with, you know, just coming around and hanging out and working with us, giving us your knowledge, you know. What's really funny is that he's looking at the time, Punk, I don't know if he still has it, but if you look at Punk's house, he's got all kinds of like horror crap, like, you know, hatchets and masks and Vincent Price and all this other stuff. Well, he's got this lineup of books about serial killers. And Eddie's looking at it, and he looks at us, he goes, you guys aren't gonna kill me, are you? No. He's just got a, you know, he's got a fascination with it. He's like, oh, okay. He just, you know, he just took a look at us like, yeah, some crazy wrestling fans are gonna massacre me.
Well, like all good things, like penicillin and x-rays, it happens by accident. I legitimately was joking with the owners of Ring of Honor, and, you know, Gabe mostly, that I said, hey, you know what, I like it out here. They brought me out here for a show, and I said, man, I really like it out here. This is a pretty cool place. You should, I don't know, hire me full-time and open up a school. And, you know, like the next day, they're like, hey, were you serious about that? Serious about what? Serious about running a school? Yeah, of course. If I moved out here, you guys can give me a pay raise. You wouldn't have to fly me, so you can give me more money for that too. I'd be local. It was a win-win for everybody. So I packed up everything I own. I threw everything in my car in, I think, 2002, and I drove out here. When the ring wasn't being used, the ring was just sitting somewhere. So to me, it logically made sense to just set it up, you know, and then let's get another ring. And, you know, Ring of Honor grew and expanded, I guess, because of all that. You know, it was a way to have revenue coming in. It was a way to get, you know, new people to help out. I had so many people come and try out, but I only took the ones that never quit. I mean, there was some super athletes that came here. Actually, I think
when I started doing tryouts for my second class. A kid by the name of Colby came in and trained with his friend, and they were great. I would work kids out till they puked. But the thing about it was I did everything that I made them do. I did all the squats, I did all the push-ups, I did the sprints, I would run with them. I wanted to show them that this is what this place is about. I expect you to work as hard as I do. And Colby, actually, he would have made the class, but then I was like, oh, you're great. You're gonna be great. You're a natural at this. This is awesome. And then he was like, yeah, I don't have any money. I was like, there's always something, right? Colby went on to become Tyler Black on the Indies, and he's now in FCW as Seth Rollins, and he's a tremendous, awesome talent. So, you know, this place, I'm not saying it started him, but, you know, that's the first time, that was like his first, you know, venture into pro wrestling. So, you know, this place has got a lot of history.
One of my favorite memories is when he was leaving Ring of Honor, and so he did a heel turn with Chris Daniels, and Phil basically like stole the belt and, sound familiar, like left the venue. And it was really cool. The show, I think, was in New Jersey, and I think he maybe, I don't know if we drove or if he flew me in for it or something, but he was really proud. Like, he was really excited. Like, this was a big show. He was writing his exit from Ring of Honor and was about to start this next chapter, you know, at WWE. So, and it was so awesome because he steals the belt and just leaves, right? Like, he runs through the crowd out the front door, and I run out the back and brought his car around to the front, and then, like, you know, I moved because, you know, nobody drives Phil's car. So I like moved to the passenger seat, and he like dives into the car wearing his trunks and like holding the belt, and just literally drives off when we drive to New York because we were going to like a Cubs-Yankees game the next day. It was so crazy, but that was one of my favorite memories. And I have pictures of that weekend, not of actually in the ring, but him just smiling so big as he's driving away. And it was just this, again, crazy fun. It was like, oh my God, you just did that. You pulled it off. And then we just chilled for like 2 days, had fun in New York. And he was so happy. He was like so at peace with this, like, you know, big life change that he was making, and it felt really right. And it was really, really cool. So I felt really lucky to be a part of that too.
I first heard about CM Punk. I heard his name knocked around a little bit, and then from my old friend Eddie Guerrero. Eddie had been away for a while, and he came back, and the first time I spoke to him and had a conversation with him when he came back to WWE, he'd mentioned that he'd been wrestling on some independent shows against this kid called CM Punk, and how good he was. And when Eddie Guerrero tells me somebody's good, then his world was golden with me, you know, so that was how I heard about it. And then the next thing, my old tag partner Dave Taylor had a wrestling camp near where we both live, and it was just for people who were already wrestlers, just for a week's course to help people out. And the first crew that came to it, we worked with them all week. Some were very talented, some were rotten. And at the end of the week, I found out that one of these lads was CM Punk, who got a pretty big name for himself at the time on the independent circuit, but he didn't tell us who he was. And I hadn't seen him at the time, but I was like, well, it showed me a lot that he would, first of all, you know, comfortable enough with himself that he wasn't trying to put his name out there. Secondly, just paid to come and learn from us. Me, Dave, and Fit Finlay. And that showed me a lot, you know, that when people are willing to do that, and they were struggling independent wrestlers, and they had to drive all the way down to Georgia, and it just blew me away that they'd come all this way and actually, you know, paid attention to what we were telling them. And when I found out, and then I started telling him, you know, I know all about you already, you know, it meant a lot to me. So we've always had that connection ever since.
I remember being backstage once. It was actually when I was supposed to debut, and I had a match, and it was me and Mickie James wrestling a local, right? And nobody could tell us what we were supposed to do. I said, are me and Mickey, are we dating? Are we brother and sister? Are we married? Are we married brother and sister? No, and everyone just kept running around going, I don't know. So I'm like, okay, I'm the weird guy. I got purple hair. I'm covered in tattoos, and I'm walking out with the smoking hot girl with big boobs. They're gonna hate me right off the bat, and I have to be this cheesy, rah-rah, goody two-shoes. And I knew it was. I apologized to Mickey before we went out because she was in OVW for a long time, and she kept trying to make it up there, and I was just like, this isn't it, girl. This is not gonna be it. So I apologized ahead of time.